Hello and a very good morning. You're watching the breakfast news on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are this morning's headlines. Foreign Secretary level talks between India and Pakistan postponed. India says it will extend all possible help to the Pakistani Special Investigation Team on the Pathankot probe. Jaish-e-Mohammed Chief Azhar Mohammed not arrested, says Pakistan denies reports of NSA meeting in third country. Last day of the odd-even traffic scheme in Delhi today. State Transport Minister Gopal Rai says second phase of the scheme could be implemented. Use of Aadhaar cards, seeding of bank accounts with Aadhaar numbers purely voluntary for direct benefit transfer scheme, says the RBI. And India look to even the score at Brisbane, take on an upbeat Australian side in the second one-day today. Well, after days of suspense, India and Pakistan yesterday agreed to reschedule talks between their foreign secretaries. The announcement indicated that India was seeking more concrete action from Pakistan in its investigation into the Pathankot airbase attack. Meanwhile, Pakistan's foreign ministry said it was not aware of any meeting of the national security advisors of India and Pakistan in Paris. Here's a detailed report.
The action taken against Jaish-e-Mohammed is an important and positive first step.
India welcoming the initial Pakistani investigation into the Pathankot airbase attack, agreeing to reschedule the Foreign Secretary level talks.
Foreign Secretary spoke to his Pakistani counterpart today. They agreed to reschedule their talks in the very near future.
At a similar media briefing in Islamabad, the Pakistani Foreign Ministry on Thursday denied that the national security advisors of both countries had met in a third country.
Both the countries are in contact to firm up the date for the meeting of the two foreign secretaries. As to your second question, I am not aware of any such meeting.
The Pakistani Foreign Ministry also denied reports that Maulana Masood Azhar, the head of Jaish-e-Mohammed militants, had been arrested.
I am not aware of such arrests. And as to the information provided and your question related to it, as you are aware, this was mentioned in the press release that was issued yesterday. It was considered at the high-level meeting. In addition to that, I can only say that the two governments remain in touch.
India claims that it has handed actionable evidence to Islamabad that it says implicates the Jaish-e-Mohammed. Vikas Swarup said a special investigation team will reach India to help probe the attack.
The government of Pakistan is considering to send a special investigation team to investigate the Pathankot terrorist attack. We look forward to the visit of the Pakistani SIT, and our investigative agencies will extend all necessary cooperation to bring the perpetrators of this attack to justice.
The Pakistani Prime Minister's office said the government had made considerable progress in investigating the attack. It also claimed that the offices of the organization are being traced and sealed.
हमने बारहा कहा है कि टेररिज्म जो है हम सबका दुश्मन है और इसको मिलकर जो है ख़त्म करने की ज़रूरत है। ये तवक्को की जाती है कि जब इस तरह के वाक़यात हों तो उसमें जो है दोनों ममालिक आपस में जो है वो मिलकर जो है उसको हल करने के मसले को हल करने की कोशिश करें।
News reports 2 days ago claimed that Maulana Masood Azhar was detained along with his brother and brother-in-law. There were also claims that he would be in protective custody for at least 30 days.
India and Pakistan have agreed to defer the Foreign Secretary level talks with mutual consent. And obviously, India wants more action before the talks can be begun. Akhilesh Soman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person D.K. Pandey in Delhi.
Meanwhile, political parties reacted to the government's decision not to drop the Foreign Secretary level talks with Pakistan. Many called it the only way forward, even as they said Islamabad should take measures against people involved in the Pathankot strike.
अच्छी बात है सरकार ने इन टॉक्स को विशेष परिस्थिति में रीशेड्यूल करने का निर्णय किया है.
When they say they've rescheduled, who are they fooling? There is no talks today. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. We will not disagree, but we need to know what is the reason why the talks were happening, what is the reasoning why the talks are not happening.
The foreign secretary level talks, there was a big apprehension that talks would be called off, but talks have not been called off. Talks have not been given up or deferred. Talks are being rescheduled, and I hope the talks will be held as early as possible.
देखिए, शिवसेना समर्थन तो कभी नहीं करेगी जब तक पाकिस्तान की भूमि से हमारे भूमि पर आतंकवाद जारी रहेगा. तब तक पाकिस्तान के साथ किसी भी तरह से रिश्ते रखने में शिवसेना को कोई रुचि नहीं है.
In a situation like this, India would prefer a NSA meeting before the Foreign Secretary talk, because in Prime Minister Modi's agenda, the top priority is given to the terrorism. So I think that would be very important for them.
Well, joining me on the phone line right now is our correspondent Akhilesh Suman. Akhilesh, is there a time frame in which these talks are postponed to? Is there something that both countries are working around to ensure a time frame of when these talks could possibly take place?
Actually, Frank, there is no time frame. What Vikas Swarup, the spokesperson of External Affairs Minister, told yesterday, that it will be very soon. Very soon is a very vague word, actually. That in case of India and Pakistan, nothing is very soon and nothing is very late, because sometimes dramatics come in between and you don't know that what is going to happen the next day. If you go to the last 2 days, day before yesterday, there were reports, and I think that Indian political system and Indian administrative system were also confirmed that Jaish-e-Mohammed chief has been arrested. Then it started coming that he has been detained, and then it is coming that he is in protective custody. So it is very, very uncertain that this very soon will come when. Because what I can gather from the sources and from the External Affairs Ministry and other government sources, that the whole dramatics by Pakistan on this question of Jaish-e-Mohammed's chief, Maulana Masood Azhar, has not been taken very well in India. And as Pakistan has told that we will we have got the actionable intelligence and we will work accordingly, but it has not come according to the information given by India. So I think that India is waiting for some information from Pakistani side about whereabouts of Maulana Masood Azhar and what action has been taken, because it is his outfit who has perpetrated this crime and this attack in Pathankot. India cannot take it very easily at a time when Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself took the initiative to visit Lahore, beyond all unexpected incidents happening in India, firing going on the borders. And in this situation, I think India has taken it very seriously that Pakistan has to do something on Maulana Masood Azhar. Otherwise, it is very soon may become very late also, Frank.
Indeed, India has been time and again saying that concrete action needs to be taken. But has anyone, listed out what this concrete action really needs to be, and what is it that India is really expecting for the Pakistan administration really to do at the moment?
Actually, it has been told that credible and comprehensive action against perpetrators of Pathankot attack. And you know that comprehensive and actionable, comprehensive and as far as credible action is concerned, the kingpin, the whole mastermind, Maulana Masood Azhar, has to be put to some task, and he has to be arrested and he has to be booked for the crime he has done. And okay, once the SIT is coming from Pakistan, India has committed that we will extend all possible help. And let us see that when SIT is coming, and I think that it will depend on what action, what negotiations go on, the modalities of SIT and how SIT will work, how India and Pakistan can join together in this investigation team. Everything will depend in the coming days on this SIT. Maulana Masood Azhar. Frank.
All right, Akhilesh Suman, we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much there for joining us with all those details. Moving on now, Delhi's odd-even car rationing scheme will end today. The government had started the scheme on the 1st of the month for a period of 15 days. Since then, it has claimed that pollution levels had come down significantly. The government is also considering a second phase. It could decide the dates after a review meeting on Monday. Yesterday, the Supreme Court came down heavily on the petitions challenging the scheme, calling them publicity stunts. It asked people to cooperate with the scheme. In the first 12 days of the scheme, the traffic police booked 2,000 violators. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I am extremely happy that I got the opportunity to go into science and help the world produce more food. There is no doubt that for the future generations, science is the best career. Giving the opportunity to the younger scientists and inspiring them is the most important for the future development of our science.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Gurdev Khosh, renowned geneticist, on Rajya Sabha television.
Well, India has assured full security to Pakistan International Airlines offices in the country after 4 members of the IndiaChina vandalized the airline's office in New Delhi yesterday. Pakistan High Commission took up the matter with the MEA seeking adequate security to the PIA offices in New Delhi and Mumbai. Police has made 1 arrest in the incident.
4 लोग एज कस्टमर्स एंटर किया और उसके बाद अंदर में कुछ गैजेट्स और चेयर्स फर्नीचर को रैंसैक किया, उसको पटका है और हमारा जो एक पुलिसमैन यहाँ पे डिप्लॉयड था गेट पे, अंदर जैसी ही रैंसैकिंग शुरू हुई ही एंटर्ड और उसने एक बंदे को वहीं पे अरेस्ट कर लिया.
Well, in other news now, the central government on Thursday approved a drought assistance of 791 crore rupees for Telangana. A high-level committee chaired by Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh took the decision yesterday after the state government sought an assistance of 1,300 crore rupees. The committee examined the proposal based on the report of the central team that visited the drought-affected districts. Drought was declared in 10 states, including Telangana, last year in more than 280 districts altogether across the country. Deficit of 14% in the southwest monsoon was recorded due to the El Nino phenomenon. Moving on now, the Reserve Bank of India clarified that direct benefit transfer scheme benefits will not need compulsory declaration of Aadhaar cards or seeding of bank accounts with its numbers. In July 2013, RBI had asked banks to take steps to complete account opening and seeding Aadhaar numbers in all DBT districts. Earlier, the RBI had also advised lenders to open accounts in camp mode with support from local authorities. On October 15th last year, the Supreme Court lifted its earlier restriction and permitted voluntary use of Aadhaar cards in welfare schemes that included Manrega, all pension schemes and the Provident Fund, besides programs like the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Meanwhile, the wholesale price index-based inflation fell for the 14th straight month in December, dropping 0.73% compared to 1.99% in November on the back of tumbling oil prices. Wholesale fuel prices dropped 9.15% from a year ago in December, while prices of manufacturing goods declined 1.36% year-on-year. The The price pressure points remained particularly in food articles as food prices gained 8.17% year-on-year. Following these figures, the Reserve Bank may come under pressure to reduce key lending rates further as industrial production contracted by 3.2% in November, its sharpest decline in 4 years. Governor Raghuram Rajan said that the banks will carefully look into the latest data on industrial production and give a reasoned response. Well, India's trade deficit with China has risen to a whopping $45 billion in 2015. This comes on the back of India's rapidly increasing imports from China, leading to an unsustainable trade imbalance. Here's more.
India has been pushing for more access to the Chinese markets for its goods, and the latest trade deficit figures prove how unsuccessful that attempt has been. The trade imbalance has only worsened over the last few years. Trade between both countries reached $71.63 billion in 2015, failing to meet an ambitious $100 billion target set by both countries. But India's already large trade deficit with China ballooned to a record $45 billion in 2015. Indian imports from China accounted for as much as $58.25 billion, but its exports to China stood at a meager $13.38 billion. Experts have expressed concern over the widening trade deficit, warning that this won't be sustainable in the long term.
This is not a picture which can sustain. After all, your imports are very high, your exports are low. $45 billion is a very big amount. So certainly it's something matter of concern. And we have no option but to correct this imbalance. A, by reducing your imports, and B, by increasing your exports.
The trade deficit has jumped as Beijing has been shipping high-value engineering and electronic goods to the Indian market, while New Delhi in return has been exporting low-value goods such as iron ore. India's main items of export to China include petroleum products, gems and jewelry and other raw materials. Industry bodies have been pushing for outward shipment of manufactured products to narrow the trade gap.
Chinese have started focusing on increasing the domestic demand, as well as they are becoming much more competitive in the export market. So definitely their exports have also come down, but our exports are falling much faster than the Chinese exports.
India and China agreed to form a special task force during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Beijing last year. India has also been pressing China to step up investments in Make in India and other infrastructure projects. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, let's now take a look at the news and events lined up for the day in our segment, The Day Ahead. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi is slated to go on a 2-day visit to Mumbai. He is expected to address party workers and interact with the college students. Rahul will also take part in a demonstration against high power tariffs on Saturday. Top JDU leaders, including party president Sharad Yadav, are likely to meet in Patna to choose the party's new election symbol. The party now wants to change the symbol of arrow to something else. The party claims it lost at least 5 seats in the 2015 assembly election due to confusion among voters caused by similar symbols of Shiv Sena and Jharkhand Mukti Morcha. The Delhi High Court will hear the case of call drops today. On Wednesday, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India told the High Court that telecom operators should be penalized for every call drop. The cellular operators have reacted, stating that the TRAI's call drop compensation regulation was a knee-jerk reaction which penalized them without proving any wrongdoing. A Delhi court will hear the arguments on the Delhi government's petition on the December 15 CBI raids at the Delhi Secretariat. Delhi court will hear arguments on a government application seeking release of documents seized by CBI during its raid. The CBI had reportedly searched the office of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's Principal Secretary Rajendra Kumar. Well, it's time for a breather on the program right now, but much more lined up for you on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
from cowries to metal pieces. Indian currency has seen many changes. The earliest punch-marked coins came from Gandhar. The East India Company at the turn of the 19th century also minted its own coins. The Indo-Greek coins come from a colony left behind by Alexander. They depict the golden rule of the Guptas, with embossed human portraits and matrimonial alliances like Chandragupta Maurya's wedding with Seleucus I Nicetas' daughter.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, the Pentagon announced that it has transferred 10 Yemeni detainees at Guantanamo Bay to the Arabian nation of Oman. The transfers bring the number of detainees remaining at the military prison to 93, down from 242 when President Barack Obama first took office. The White House termed it a significant milestone. In his State of the Union address on Tuesday, Obama said he would attempt to get Congress to back a plan to close the facility completely. Republicans, however, criticized the move, saying transferring detainees to other countries where they could be released and returned to the battlefield was not a solution. Meanwhile, a series of blasts rocked the Indonesian capital of Jakarta on Thursday, along with the gun battles between terrorists and security personnel on the streets. 5 gunmen were among the 7 killed. President Joko Widodo said the situation was under control and called on people to remain calm. Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack. Here are the details.
Terror struck Indonesia on Thursday. Up to 7 blasts and multiple gunfights hit the capital, Jakarta, leaving at least 7 people, including 5 gunmen, dead. The blast took place around one of the capital's busiest places, Thamrin Street, which is a major shopping and business district close to embassies and the United Nations offices. One of the blasts hit a Starbucks cafe outside the Serena shopping center and next to a police security post. As soon as the blasts went off, police cordoned off the area around the shopping center. The attackers used grenades and engaged in a gunfight with officers. Sporadic gunfire was reported for several hours after the blast. 5 gunmen were killed and reports say that 3 attackers have also been arrested. A manhunt is underway for more suspects.
5 teroris mati. Masih ada sisa, Pak? Kita belum tahu ada sisa, tapi sekarang kita lakukan pengejaran di mana-mana, tapi kita belum bisa berspekulasi.
It is not clear exactly how many gunmen were involved. Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack, which President Joko Widodo called an act of terror. Islamic State had earlier in November last year warned of a concert or an attack in Indonesia, which would be international news.
Tindakan yang mengganggu keamanan masyarakat, mengganggu ketenangan rakyat, dan menebar teror kepada masyarakat. Dan saya telah perintahkan kepada Kapolri, kepada Menko Polhukam.
Memastikan, tetapi kalau dari warning yang disampaikan bahwa Indonesia akan terjadi konser dan akan menjadi berita internasional.
Warning dari mana, Pak?
Dari grup ISIS,
It is estimated that 500 to 700 Indonesians have joined the Islamic State militant group in Iraq and Syria, with the government expressing concern their return home could spark attacks. Thursday's attack was the first major attack in Indonesia's capital since the 2009 bombings in 2 hotels that killed 7 people and injured more than 50. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's now take a look at the other international news in World Wrap. Members of the US-led coalition fighting Islamic State will meet in Paris next week to reinforce efforts against the group. The confirmation on the meeting was given by French Defense Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian on Thursday. Speaking to the media, Le Drian also said that the militants were clearly retreating in Iraq. France was the first country to join the US-led airstrikes in Iraq. Since the Paris attacks by Islamic State in November, it has stepped up its aerial bombing campaign of the group, including in Syria, contributing about 20% of coalition strikes. A Bavarian mayor, angry about Germany's asylum policy, sent a busload of Syrian migrants to Chancellor Angela Merkel's office in Berlin on Thursday. But the mayor, Peter Dreyer, had to pay up for his accommodation himself. Dreyer said by doing so, he wanted to send a signal that Germany's asylum policies could not continue as before. An anti-migrant sentiment has been growing in Germany since the Cologne attacks on New Year's Eve. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has warned Syria's warring parties, particularly President Bashar al-Assad's government, against committing atrocities against civilians. He said harrowing images of starving civilians in the besieged town of Madaya reflects a new low in a war that has already reached shocking depths of inhumanity. Liberia was declared free of the Ebola virus by global health experts on Thursday, a milestone that signaled an end to the epidemic in West Africa that killed more than 11,300 people. But the World Health Organization warned there could still be flare-ups of the disease in the region, which has suffered the world's deadliest outbreak over the past 2 years. The UN body is concerned that survivors could carry the virus for many months and pass it on to others. NASA has released still images showing a possible ice volcano on Pluto. The images feature a composite photo taken in July 2015 by the New Horizons spacecraft's long-range reconnaissance imager from a range of about 30,000 miles. Scientists at NASA say that the images show one of the two potential cyclones of Pluto's surface. The New Horizons team named the feature seen in the image as Wright Moons in the honor of aviation pioneering Wright brothers. Moving on to some sports news now. India have won the toss in the second cricket one-day in Brisbane and have elected to bat. After their first match loss, they will have to plug their bowling loopholes in this match. The visitors are fully aware that any slip-up will make bouncing back difficult. Let's take a look at their prospects.
And there it is, punched down to deep mid-on for one. James Faulkner.
At Perth, Australia chased an imposing 310 with ease, registering a comfortable 5-wicket win. But when the hosts take on India in their second outing on Friday at the Gabba, Dhoni will be hoping that his bowlers put up a better show.
If you see the bowling department, the fast bowlers did a very good job. It was the spinners that were that could have bowled better. If they would have just avoided the easy boundary deliveries. Okay, fair enough. If the batsman is hitting you for a 6-over long on or long off, that's always a good shot and with a bit of risk involved. But you have to make sure with the field restriction, you don't get hit in areas where you don't have a fielder. So that's something that we'll have to avoid.
Rohit Sharma's brilliant 100 was certainly one of the positives for India despite the 5-wicket defeat. But a worrying factor for the visitors is their inability to pick up wickets in the middle overs.
A lot of positives in our batting, but we still need to work in our bowling and get those breakthroughs whenever there is big partnership going on.
Australia, however, will be without the services of both David Warner and Mitchell Marsh, both of whom are unavailable for the second match due to personal reasons. Meanwhile, Australian all-rounder James Faulkner is excited to play on a flat pitch once again.
Yeah, good game of cricket. I'm expecting the same sort of scenario here as well. I haven't seen a one-day wicket that hasn't been flat here for a fair while, so we should have good pace, good carry, and it should be a good contest again.
In the Perth ODI, India missed several opportunities that ultimately cost them the match. The visitors said they have identified their mistakes and hope not to repeat them. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other sports news now, India's Sania Mirza and her Swiss partner Martina Hingis on Thursday broke a 22-year-old record by winning their 29th women's doubles match in a row en route to their entry into the women's doubles final of the WTA Sydney International. The world number one pair survived a scare and came from behind to beat the pair of Romanian Raluca Olaru and Kazakhstan's Yaroslava Shedova 4-6, 6-3, 10-8 in a closely fought semi-final. They have now surpassed their pair of Puerto Rican Gigi Fernandez and Belarus's Natasha Zareva, who won 28 matches on the trot during their successful pairing back in 1994. The Indo-Swiss pair has continued their good show from 2015 when they won 9 titles, which included the Wimbledon, the US Open and the year-ending WTA Finals. 2016 has also started on a fabulous note as they have now made it to the second straight final, having won the Brisbane International last week. A win in the final will be their 11th WTA title together. Well, that's it on this edition of the Breakfast News. Have a good day.